What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Crystals. My name is Eli, if you don't know me already. And today I'm going to be talking about the idea of going crazy during a spiritual awakening. Are you going crazy or are you just awakening? I'm here to tell you you're just awakening. You're not going crazy, but I'm going to expand on that idea. And to start off, I will just say, I know how hard it is. I know how you might feel right now as you kind of discover these new, like you could say, esoteric ideas that most people don't know about and most people around you probably aren't open to. It can feel very lonely. It can feel like maybe I'm the one going crazy because nobody else seems to know what I'm talking about. So is it me? It must be. I mean, if you base it on like you're the one out of 100 people around you, or maybe even more, that is into this, you must be the crazy one. Everyone else must be doing the right thing. But if you look at society, it's a very broken system. What we've been doing, what most people have been doing for centuries, has been ego-based. This is why we have wars. This is why we have political divisions. This is why the state of America, the state of the world, is so divided. And it's why the people at the top want to continue to keep people in a low state of consciousness so that it's easier to control them. They keep them in fear, and they divide and conquer. United we stand, divided we fall. And right now we're falling because we're so divided. So the system is the problem. It's not you. You are one of the people that's going to be bringing in a new system. You're one of the people that's going to be raising the collective consciousness of this planet as we move into fourth density. And you can look into the law of one for more information on that, if you've never heard of like the densities of consciousness and whatnot. But, you know, it's proven that there's a Schumann resonance on the planet, right? And it's growing. It especially when certain events happen, the Schumann resonance changes. Vibration is a very real thing. You know, some of the greatest inventors in the world, such as Nikola Tesla, talked about vibration a lot. And, you know, he even said, if you want to know the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So just know that the system is at a low vibration. It's very low on the scale of consciousness. It's in fear, hate, division, you know, that mentality. So you're not necessarily going crazy. You're just one of the people who is kind of bringing in this new earth, as we call it. And it's special, you know, not to get in an ego-based spiritual ego thing going where it's like, well, I'm a chosen one and I'm special. But you are a chosen one in a way because you're one of the first people to wake up. And I believe that everybody has that ability within them because we are all pure consciousness within. It's just some people are starting to become more open to this idea. So remind yourself that, you know, your uniqueness, being someone that's going through a spiritual awakening, that is special, you know, that is something that is a gift. It is something that some people will never come across during this lifetime. Some people will always be living in that constant state of suffering within the mind. And because you've had a spiritual awakening, you might be experiencing more suffering within your mind than other people, because sometimes knowledge can be a curse. You know, in the movie, in one of the either Avengers Infinity War or Endgame, Thanos says to Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, "You're not the only one cursed with knowledge." And I always found that kind of powerful because it's like sometimes knowledge can be a curse. When you think you have to know everything or you feel like you have more information, it can be kind of difficult to deal with. You know, ignorance is bliss, as they say sometimes. Some people who are ignorant to this information may be happier in some aspects because they have no idea. They're just suffering in different ways than you are. But that suffering will subside. And as you go through a dark night of the soul, you are in the dark to your new identity. You are uncovering the true you. And that's a painful process. You know, your spiritual awakening could have been stemmed from a lot of things, but normally there's some type of big loss of identity, loss of a person, loss of a job, loss of interest in certain things. So you're kind of left with this blank slate and you don't know what to do with it. But you can paint on your canvas. This is your canvas, so paint it how you want to paint it. Shout out J. Cole. And to bring in another J. Cole quote that kind of ties into this, there's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. So there's beauty in the struggle, there's beauty within each and every now moment, within each thing that you perceive as a negative and a struggle. There's a lot of beauty to be found there, and when you look back on it, you will be able to appreciate it more than maybe you do right now. But some things that I think could help you if you're in that state where it's just like, I feel like I'm so alone, I feel like nobody gets me, I feel like I'm going crazy, and it must be me, I must be the one that's going crazy. Start putting your attention on things that raise your vibration, on things that resonate with you. The people that you aspire to be like, start watching and listening to them, and start that will connect you with them in a weird way. Even when you read books by certain people, it kind of sends you into their vibration, into their state of consciousness in a weird way. Like reading The Power of Now, for example, Eckhart Tolle is one of the most awakened people on the planet. And he wrote this book that will kind of put you into that present moment state just by reading it. And just by reading that, you are kind of getting a little piece of Eckhart Tolle's mindset or soul set, because he doesn't really want you to be attached to your mind. And all of this suffering that you're experiencing mostly stems from that attachment to the mind and ego, where you're kind of still stuck in the old way of being. But the more that you can meditate and observe your thoughts and realize that they're not necessarily you, you're the one seeing them, you're the one behind those eyes experiencing them, your life will begin to change. And there's no quick fix. There's nothing I can say to you that will make you immediately feel way better and feel like your life is perfect, because it's never going to necessarily be perfect. I haven't completely gotten out of that chaos of a spiritual awakening. I haven't completely figured out that I'm not crazy sometimes. Sometimes you will have those moments where you have things come up and you're around certain people and you'll feel like, well, am I going crazy? Do they think I'm weird and crazy? But embrace that. Embrace the idea of being different. And when you know the bigger picture, when you know the beauty of what is actually going on, it becomes a lot easier to deal with. Think of your life as a movie. It wouldn't be very interesting if everything just happened so easily. It makes for an interesting story if you go through these things to get to where you want to be, and you'll appreciate it a lot more then. Almost everyone who has changed the world at some point was seen as crazy. And that's not a bad thing. If you want to do something different that no one has ever done or not many people are doing, you're going to be different. You're going to be possibly viewed as crazy. But if you can just kind of come to terms with that, everything will be a lot easier. You have judgment from friends, family members, religion that you might have broken out of. And it's very difficult to have all these things falling away. But the more that you let them fall away and don't try and hold on to them, you will actually have more peace. So I hope that you're not crazy. People will call you crazy because you're doing something different, because they don't understand you. A lot of people think that things are crazy because they don't understand them. But unless you're going to take the time to actually experience something, you will never really know what that other person is going through. When you think someone is crazy, maybe look at it from a different perspective. Your life has changed perspectives drastically. Maybe think of how you would view yourself as the older version of you. You might have thought you were crazy, but that's okay, because now you've experienced it and you know that it's not as crazy as you once would have thought. And it's great to see life in this beautiful way that you've discovered. When you have a spiritual awakening, you do see life for how it should be seen. Your natural vibration is already high. It's just the things that you've got caked on top of that vibration that are holding you down. So you're not crazy, you're just awakening. And coming from somebody who's felt like they're crazy and put themselves out there and changed my whole life, I know it's hard, but you will get through it. Keep going. And sometimes it takes a little time. Be patient. Know that you are being guided. You are being protected. Use those signs as confirmation that you are on the right path. The synchronicities, the repeating numbers, the things that show you where you're meant to go. Always follow your heart and don't follow fear. If you're thinking you're crazy out of fear of being judged, out of fear of whatever it is, that's BS. It's false evidence appearing real, fear. So go from love, go from your intuition, and if you feel like this is the right thing for you, if you feel like you should do something, then do it, and don't let the fear of being called crazy hold you back, because it's going to be a great feeling when you actually get to wherever you want to be, which you could be there now. You could get there now just by feeling the presence within, but I'm just saying in an external sense, when you get to where maybe a place in life where you feel a little better, it's going to be a great feeling to know that once you were called crazy and you pushed through and you didn't give up just because you thought you might be going crazy or other people thought you were going crazy. That now some of those same people might come along and say you're really an inspiration for them because you had the courage to follow your heart. And remember that the universe always supports those who follow their hearts. So keep following your heart. And check out my higher self-guided meditation in the pinned comment and description. Check out my spiritual awakening story video that's going to be popping up on the screen. I think that will kind of help some of you if you've just gone through a spiritual awakening or you're interested in hearing that story. As always, I love you all. Universal crystals forever.